You're listening to Mile High Insiders with Nick Kendell and Luke Patterson. Head on over to milehighhuddle.com for all things Broncos. Now, it's time to find out what's going on behind the walls of UC Health Training Center.
There, Luke, okay, well, I don't know if it matters, but it's a horseshoe periscope there. I don't know if you see that up there. So I guess the Colts fans over on Twitter are going to be getting us instead of the Bronco fans, but that's okay. But welcome in, everyone. Hopefully everyone's doing well. This is a Saturday, I think. I went into work today for an episode of Mile High Insiders. It is hotter than heck here and only going to get hotter. And I'm coming at you from my office where it's probably 85 degrees in here. So if I have a heat stroke, the show must go on. John will hop on. Luke will keep going. But Luke, how you doing? You said you're getting some rain.
It's crazy, man. It's like we swapped weather for a day, Seattle and Denver. It's a rainy day here in the Mile High City, but we'll take it. You know, those wildfires, that's usually the theme here of Colorado in the summer. But yeah, rainy. We got some hail. I think John and I were talking about that. And it's kind of crazy for June weather, especially with July right around the corner, man. So I don't know. Seattle, Denver, possible trades. We're going to talk about Broncos, Packers, potential trade. So yeah, speaking of trade and weather, there we go.
Yeah, man, it is hot here and only going to get hotter. So hopefully everybody out there with pets of the people temporarily without houses or temporarily homeless are doing fine. But man, it's hot here, so we'll probably keep it a little bit short here, and I'll try not to get too ornery or too heated under the collar with the comments and the stuff today. But let's get it going. Yeah, this is Mile High Insiders. Welcome in, everybody. Saturday nights at 6 o'clock Mountain Time. I am one of your co-hosts, Nick Kendell, along with my good friend Luke Patterson. You can find Luke on Twitter at Luke Patterson LP. You can find myself at Twitter at Nick Kendell MHH. Also, while you guys are over on Twitter, go follow us at MHI_pod, as well as the mothership at Mile High Huddle. And guys, this show wouldn't be nearly as good or as fun or just all of the above without John working the show in the background. So shout out to John. You guys know you guys know him, you love him. Buona Beast. He's rocking the crazy horse today, which you love. I know he's got to be jonesing about the that announcement for the retro uniform helmets. So that's great. Follow him on Twitter at John K MHH. Guys, if you're joining us on Facebook today, please first off click those thumbs up where they're coming in right now, but we'd appreciate more and more. And that's something you guys can do that's totally free while you're over on Facebook. Please, facebook.com/Mile High Huddle Pod, as well as facebook.com/Mile High Huddle. Go to both, subscribe to both. You'll help us a heck of a lot. Make sure you go to huddleuppod.com to get your swag on. We have our Colorado hats on today. The Mile High Insiders got the Rockin' logo there. None else that I like there. I love the Colorado flag. I love the state of Colorado. Why does it have to look like the gosh darn Cubs logo? It kills me. I hate
What's the matter with you? What's the matter with you?
Cubs.
Get out of here, man. Cut this man off, John. Cut this man off. No, go get you a hat. They're fresh. Yeah. You know, Nick's got a couple of hats. He's not quite sure where his allegiance truly lies, but Mile High Huddle, nonetheless, you can grab your hoodie. One. I know it's kind of weird. I feel like an idiot wearing a hoodie right now in June, but it's rainy right now, so I'm going to do it. And I'm at home, so I can do whatever I want. But this is huddleuppod.com. Get your swag on. Grab yourself a gator, a mug. There's some baby gear for your kids. Subscribe, like, and share. Thank you guys for joining us. And Nick, I want to say what's up to some of the homies here following us, our great Super Chat superstars. I see Dylan, Mike, Joseph's in the house. Dylan was saying those fires are out there in NorCal too. So we got thoughts and prayers to California and everybody. Yeah, in this crazy world. Mike S., I see you. Young Hog, how are you? Gary Leeds Palmer, what's going on, buddy? Hello, Broncos country. Denver Broncos for life. Hashtag state of being. I absolutely love it. It's cool to see familiar faces, Nick. It's awesome when we get some new folks because, as you know, and something I will continue to say until they put me in the grave, Diamond Rattler, what's up? Bob Skinner, how are you? Time is the most valuable thing in our lives, and we appreciate your time tonight here on MHI. That being said, Nick, let's get right to it because I can see the chat's already going with it, man. Aaron Rodgers talk. I'm trying to, we got to talk Drew and Teddy, but Aaron Rodgers, he's just in our minds constantly. He lives there. He haunts us. We have nightmares about Aaron Rodgers. We have fantasies about Aaron Rodgers, but John Clayton recently wrote an article for 1043thefan.com, denverfan.com, and he had suggested that Rodgers, much like the rest of NFL players, have the right to opt out. Now, those opt-out decisions will be made as early as next week, specifically July 2nd. So that's going to be next Friday. And players would opt out of the 2021 season for obvious concerns, those same sort of concerns as last year. Different circumstances, though, I think, with pay and things like that. But it's basically a theory that, and an option, a realistic option that Aaron Rodgers could take. You've heard other quarterbacks like Deshaun Watson in that same sort of scenario. Nick, your initial reaction when I say Aaron Rodgers potential opt-out?
I think it's not super likely, but it is another card that he has that he can play if he has to. And Dale coming in here, I hope you're staying cool. I know hopefully you have one of the few people who has an air conditioning out here saying, what's up, my boys? My wife's the biggest Denver fan. Sounds like you got a smart woman there. In the country, we live in Washington State. I'm a Seattle fan, first-time watcher. I'll have to get myself to a Seahawks game. It looks like a fun stadium. I've been to a Mariners game, and it's a good time. But as far as Rodgers opting out, if he feels like he has to do it, it is what it is. I could see him totally going that route. I think it's still unlikely, but if it's one more piece of leverage that he can play with, then I don't see why he wouldn't at least bring it up and show the Packers that, like, hey, if you don't get movement here, if I don't get like in writing that this is going to happen, I'm opting out. And good luck with all the money that you're going to collect off of me for not showing up. Suck it, I guess, is what Rodgers could say.
Something I think Aaron Rodgers would say. I like that because Rodgers is a stickler, and as Diamond Rattler points out, if Aaron Rodgers opts out, that'd be a savage move by him. Though doesn't his contract with Green Bay just get delayed by a year? That is absolutely correct. So there have also been theories out there suggesting that the Packers could promise to trade him after the end of the season, something that seems a little outlandish, and I don't know that Aaron Rodgers would be happy to admit that he was wrong and come back and play. It doesn't seem like something Aaron Rodgers would do. No. So we're going to get into it. 6 o'clock here on MHI. We appreciate everybody being here. Cobra Commander, how are you? He's saying, guys, I was in Bavaria all week and even went into Austria. It was awesome. Cobra Commander bringing some of that Bronco orange all over the world. Appreciate you joining MHI tonight. That's awesome. See Prost. Zebulon here, Higher Learnings. Here we go. Aaron Rodgers, he's not high risk as far as I know. He wouldn't get paid opting out. So Zebulon brings up a good subject, and that's Aaron Rodgers' money, Nick. Some people suggest that if he opts out and if he's already staying away from mandatory minicamp, he's already losing money. And John Clayton wrote a terrific piece on denverfan.com, and you guys can find all of his work over there. That work suggested Aaron Rodgers could lose X amount of money, right? And X amount of money is a big money for Aaron Rodgers, you and me. Does that matter to Aaron at this point? He's collected a ton of cash throughout his life. He's still collecting cash. The guy knows how to make money. He's a great businessman. Do you think Aaron Rodgers flinches because of his potential loss of salary with the Green Bay Packers by staying away?
I mean, it definitely is something that he would rather not have happen, right? Like, he'd rather make more money, but he's made a lot. He's got his sponsorships also that makes him a good chunk of money. And also his fiance has got that Hollywood money too. So, he's going to be okay if he steps out. I'm not sure if so we're talking about like Aaron Rodgers doesn't, I think it was Zebulon saying that he's not high risks. So he wouldn't get paid for opting out, but I do think that because while he wouldn't get paid for opting out, he's also not going to be fined and lose all that money that he has to give back to the Packers for doing so. While he's not going to get that money from the league for the opting out, it means he could save what I think it was like $30 million or something that the Packers would get opt out. So that's what it's about. It's not about the money from the league, which is, not big for a starting quarterback, but the amount of money that he'd have to give back to the Packers, he wouldn't have to.
Yeah, so some housekeeping. The article was loading when I was flapping my gums. So per John Clayton, Hall of Fame writer, he's already lost $93,000 in fines for skipping minicamp. Missing the season could cost him his $14.7 million base salary. The Packers could ask him to repay the $11.5 million proration of his signing bonus. So that would mean he'd lose a $6.8 million roster bonus. He would also be fined the $2.05 million for missing training camp. He's already lost a $500,000 workout bonus. When you total all of that up, Nick, he stands to lose $35,643,000. That's a big chunk of change. A whole lot of money if you're Antonio Brown, right? Man, that's absolutely crazy. So if he does opt out, everything moves into next year. He'd get paid the $150,000 for the 2021 season, and the man still hosts Jeopardy. Do not forget that, folks, in case you did.
Sure. Yeah, we got Jay coming in here saying, I'm sure he's going to threaten Green Bay with an opt-out. Maybe something will happen this week. I still don't think it's Denver. It might not be Denver, but if Aaron Rodgers is available, the Broncos are going to be aggressive. And
what's the matter with you, Jay? Why wouldn't it be Denver?
I think he's just trying to simmer expectations so he doesn't get hurt, right? Like
why are you being reasonable, Jay? Why are you being reasonable? How dare you?
For sure. Yeah, I mean, that's okay. We'll see what happens here with Rodgers. But either way, the Broncos are Bridgewater lock, which is fine, hopefully. We'll see. Or they bring in Rodgers. So I'm fine with talking about it. I know some people are like, oh, why are you talking about Rodgers? Talk about Bridgewater lock. We talked about them, but this is some new information and new chips for Rodgers, the Rodgers saga that might be interesting. And it's pertinent. I mean, it really is pertinent. Stuart McNair coming in here saying, good evening, guys. I'd rather keep our roster as is than going after Rodgers, giving up those picks and no guarantee of a championship because we're in the same division as Mahomes. It would be like a temporary Band-Aid on something that requires stitches.
Ooh.
Stuart,
thanks,
right now we're bleeding anyway. And this is an offense and a team that is ready to go. I mean, it's a pilot without a plane right now. So if you can get in there and bring in the quarterback, I think you have to at least look at it. And ideally, you draft a quarterback and he ends up being like you draft a Russell Wilson type, right? Third round. And then he ends up being a top 5 quarterback in the league for years and years. You're paying him nothing. You win a championship when he's on his rookie deal, et cetera, et cetera. But that's exceedingly hard. You know, that's like, oh, all I need to do is win the lottery. Then I'll be fine. Like, okay, cool. Go plan on that. Speaking of plans, thank goodness, Mohamed Badri, love you, buddy, coming in $3. The smooth killer and Braun in the house. Thank you so much, Mohamed, king of the super stickers, and hope Malik is doing well. We appreciate you. Hope you're doing well. So
thanks, Mo. Appreciate you, buddy.
I appreciate where you're getting at here, Stuart McNair, but this team is outside of the quarterback position, good to go. And there is no such thing as a perfect roster. I think like some people are like, oh, the Broncos need better linebackers before they make a trade, or their offensive line is still not good enough. This Broncos offensive line on paper is better than any single one Peyton Manning had his entire time in Denver. The weapons are equivalent. I would say close to equivalent to what any time you've had. And the defense is as good as any year besides 2015, I would say. Obviously, that's a historic defense. So,
what's up, Ashton?
You know, if you have a chance to go get him, you know, and if that means, oh, you only have 4 or 5 years of being great, that beats 4 or 5 years of sucking that we've had the last 5 years. So I say go get him if he's available. Sorry, I'm hot. I'm feeling
not even sucking, man, but just being boring. And Nick, I'm going to be honest here. I am so sick of the offensive line excuse. The offensive line is good. They're not only good on paper. I think they're actually legitimate. And when you look at Drew Lock and how long it takes him to pass the ball, the average time 2.4 seconds in the NFL. Drew 4.0. All right. 4 seconds with Drew Lock, man. It's near last in the NFL. It's him. He hangs onto the ball too long. So if you have a chance to get Aaron Rodgers, you go get it. The Broncos, they have never drafted a quarterback, folks. They haven't done it. I'm not saying that they can't. I'm just saying that they haven't. So if that means repeating a quirky, weird, bizarre, let's capture lightning in a bottle for 1 or 2 years, yes, let's do it. Because, Nick, the Broncos haven't even sucked. They've been irrelevant and boring. And that's what's really, really bad. When you've got the bare minimum for primetime games for the Denver Broncos, that's something that we have hardly experienced in our lifetimes, Nick. Yeah. And it's embarrassing and it pisses me off because the Broncos are a much better organization than the last 3 or 4 years. So, Nick, I would take it. I would give anything and everything away for 1 or 2 years of making a run with old man Rodgers.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to be the boring, realistic one here. Everything, maybe not everything. There's a point where it's probably too much for a 37-year-old quarterback.
Who's safe? Who's safe? Not draft capital. I just want to know player wise. Who would you say is safe? Because Garrett Bowles, sure, I would get you finally lock that up, right? I wouldn't trade Garrett Bowles right now.
Logistically speaking, it would not make sense to pay anybody or trade anybody who's recently got paid, given the massive dead cap hit that would happen if you traded them. So that includes a Garrett Bowles. That includes also a Justin Simmons, because you're going to be just loaded with dead cap moving on from them. So those are the guys. And there is not nobody I wouldn't trade, but I'm not trading Noah Fant, Bradley Chubb, Jerry Jeudy, one of our young interior offensive linemen, and 3 first-round picks and Patrick Surtain for Aaron Rodgers.
No,
right?
I'm not trading Patrick Surtain, but if you traded Noah Fant just to play devil's advocate, bless you. If you just want to play devil's advocate, you got Alberto, right? Say what you want about him, not Noah Fant, but you do have a body there. You've got some more young guys in the room. I get it. It's not an established position. You're finally figuring it out. You've got a gem and a tight end. The tight end, I think, who could eventually be better than Darren Waller. I really do. I've been completely wrong about Noah Fant, and I'll continue to eat that crow. He's got that talent, Nick, so I hear you. That's going to hurt. But you still would have an Alberto. You would also have a Tim Patrick if Jerry Jeudy is gone. You do have a Cortland Sutton. I think potentially the Broncos want to move towards Jerry Jeudy. I don't know if they're going to pay Cortland Sutton. That's pure speculation, nothing I'm hearing or anything like that. But I just know how much they love Jerry Jeudy, Nick. It's hard. It's hard to, and everyone has their limits. And I see it here in the chat line. They're echoing your point. I'm not sure George Paton is going to, give up the haul. And George Payton's a stickler, man. And I like that with the new GM. He's putting together a good roster. So it could be a shame if he puts together this roster and then has to deal a chunk of it away for one man.
Yeah, and the thing also and a lot of people don't, I think, appreciate this as enough as, if you're trading first-round picks, they're going to be later in the draft. You're probably talking at the earliest 20, like something goes wrong and you lose a playoff game early. Okay, 20th pick, or I guess it would be 22nd pick these days 20th for a team making the playoffs. But either way, that's not the same as drafting in the top 10, so that's valuable. Also, these draft picks, a majority of them, their rookie year, their second year even, we've seen it with Noah Fant, Garrett Bowles, they're first-round picks, but they still took 2-3 years to really get their footing. So
you're right.
You definitely are taking away from your team 2024, 2025 a bit when you're moving those first round picks. Mm-hmm. But you immediately enter a championship window as soon as you add Aaron Rodgers to this roster. So you have to think that's worth it. Like, would you, okay, like this is obviously hindsight, but like looking back, there were people arguing like, oh man, the Broncos shouldn't bring in Peyton Manning. We don't want to give up the future of Tim Tebow. He's going to be great. Okay. How do you look? How are you looking right now with that?
They're looking really good, Nick. They're looking really good in their Jacksonville Jaguars Tebow jersey. What is it, 80 something? I mean, good Lord, folks. You're exactly right, though. You're exactly right. I mean, it's you got to really look. You got to look at it. You got to explore it. And I see it. People are saying, look, man, Jay was the one saying Peyton's not going to give up the farm. And I think you could be right. I mean, it's tough because everyone wants an Aaron Rodgers. Who doesn't want an Aaron Rodgers right now? And it's something that Michael on Facebook is echoing, saying, I will take Aaron Rodgers in a heartbeat. Thank you so much for joining us, Michael, on Facebook. We really, really appreciate that. And our guy, Charlie Beagle, is in the house. What's up, Charlie? Hope you're having a great start to your summer. Manning didn't cost anything as a free agent. But, Charlie, you got to think about this. Nick's echoing the point. Tim Tebow and the Tebow lovers and Tebow's run and what have you, that was going on thick. And then Peyton Manning gets cut loose. He's a free agent. I think that's about the only guy John Elway could have really transitioned away from, Nick, due to the popularity of Tim Tebow. Not necessarily from Broncos country. I would just say from college football fans. I know a lot of people became Broncos fans because of Tim Tebow and his popularity. So for me, it's an easy decision when you're John Elway and you want to transition from a hot fad and a good guy to a GOAT and a Hall of Famer in Peyton Manning.
Yeah, and I appreciate you calling it a false equivalency, Charlie, but is there even an equivalency at all if you're starting to tear down those variables to the specificity of this situation? We've never seen a team trade a reigning MVP. How often does a quarterback who's going to end up a first ballot Hall of Famer be traded off an MVP season? It doesn't. And
it's never happened. It's never happened, right? I'm trying to a reigning MVP never released or never traded.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever happened. And you obviously are adding risk, giving up draft capital or anything to bring in Rodgers, but it's a different kind of risk because there was some talk Peyton Manning would never be the same, and you paid him all that guaranteed cash to come in here. His arm was going to fall off, his neck is fused together. Like
remember that first hit we were all waiting for with Broncos country when Peyton was here, right? Absolutely crazy. Yeah. And Mohammed Badri again. What's up, Mo? Really appreciate you. $2 super. He's saying, "What's up, y'all? King of the super stickers. Y'all are cool. He's rocking it. Mo's always rocking it. Appreciate your positivity and your loyalty and I hope you and your family are doing well. Enjoy this summer season. Let's get after it, folks. I want to know, what would you give up to get Aaron Rodgers? Do you expect Aaron Rodgers to opt out of the season? I think Nick and I can probably say, no, we don't expect the opt-out, because I think Aaron Rodgers wants to play. He's just trying to force his way out, and I think next week will come and go. Maybe Deshaun Watson, probably not Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. We got R. Powell coming in over on YouTube. And guys, like we've said before, if you can't contribute like Muhammad has been today, you're not in the position to do something like that, that's totally fine. Go to YouTube, like, subscribe, and share. That helps us a heck of a lot without giving up any of your hard-earned cash. Although we do appreciate the supers when they do come in, and we'll definitely get to you if you do get them in. R. Powell, though, with Rodgers will be like the offense in 2013 and the defense will be like 2015. What an extreme dangerous team. I mean, you're talking about the greatest, most prolific offense of all time and one of the top defenses ever.
The best defense ever. The best defense. Yeah, I said that, Bears fans. I said it, and it's not because I'm a millennial. I get it. We get a bad rap, but you know what? Whatever is whatever. That defense and the amount of points that they scored, the world has never seen anything like it, Nick. It was crazy. It's weird to think that was only, 5-6 years ago? It feels like a lifetime ago.
We're approaching 10 years. It's 2021, and that was 2013. So 8 years ago.
Good.
But man, time flies. God, right? That's in the world of suck, man.
That's disgusting. Emmanuel. Gosh dang, Emmanuel, with that drop. Living in a world of suck. Dave Glassman coming in the house. 2 firsts in Bridgewater. No more. I think it's going to cost a lot more for the reigning MVP, Dave. I appreciate that take. It's going to get rich, and our pal coming in again. Here you go. A potential trade scenario. Broncos would be giving up their 2022 first and second, 2023 first and Teddy. Again, I think it's going to take more. It's going to take multiple picks like Nick suggested. Folks, when Nick says 3 first rounders, I don't think he's just exaggerating. You're seeing trades happen and a reigning MVP. It's never happened before. What kind of money do you think Aaron Rodgers wants after he gets to his destination? Teams are going to have to roll out the bank. And if teams are going to pay a man that much cash, you're damn right they're going to go ahead and pay draft capital as well. So if you don't think that the price for Aaron Rodgers is multiple players and 3 first-round draft picks, you're absolutely crazy.
But if he opts out, like, how does that change the value, right? Like, if he sits out this season, it's going to fall.
Yeah. If he opts out, then you move ahead with Drew and Teddy. I don't know. Deshaun, I don't think they're going to touch. He's probably going to opt out. So you move ahead, and I guess, yay, quarterback competition. We get to overreact and underreact every single day in training camp, something that I am ready to puke about already. I am Purple Drank coming in the house. Let's leave that up, John. Thank you. 2 firsts and a second for Aaron. With the arsenal we have, we would be back to the Super Bowl next year. Our offense is stacked and our defense is about to torture quarterbacks. Oh, Nick, he's got a really good point, man. I mean, you're going to have to give up. You're going to have to give something up, and you're still going to have a decent team, lots of weapons, but dang, depth, man. It's all about depth, as you know, Nick. Players don't make it through unless you're Lloyd Cushenberry his rookie year. 17 games now? So,
and rookie training camp,
regular practice, lifting weights, conditioning. I mean, absolutely everything. So it's going to be tough. Clinton in the house saying Aaron Rodgers would make us a Super Bowl run. Completely agree with that, Clinton. Absolutely. He's the reigning MVP for a reason. And Charlie Beagle saying, I would still not be surprised to see Rodgers move on from football entirely. Charlie, I like that take because Aaron, he's stubborn, right? He's a complicated fella. Right? That's what they say, complicated fella. So I don't know, man. I would hate to see that, Nick. That would really, really suck because his rights would still be to the Green Bay Packers, much like when Jake Plummer was traded to the Tampa Bay Bucks. He decided to retire. If he did decide to come back in whatever window, and there were some whispers for a little while, his rights would be exclusively to that team.
Did the Broncos get the pick for that trade? I thought that the trade fell through because he did retire, so the Broncos still would have had his rights.
I was pretty sure. I could be wrong. I was pretty sure
I thought
Tampa.
they didn't get that pick. I was like, damn, I wish we could have gotten that third or whatever it was.
Yeah. Was it a third? Wow. I thought maybe.
I mean, the quarterback value, man.
Broncos country, let us know, because we got historians on the line right now. They'll let us know. And speaking of letting us know, man, here we go. A super. I love it. Naj Altaf in the house, a 1999 super. What a generous super. Appreciate you so much. Nick, he says, hey, brothers, Rodgers brings instant respect, and every team the Broncos play will have some measure of doubt playing them. Currently, it's the exact opposite. Every team the Broncos play, I believe, comes in thinking that's a win. Naj is spitting fire, absolute fire. I love it. Naj is telling the truth. And you know what, Nick? Sometimes the truth hurts. And it hurts right now, Broncos country. We're hurting. We're living in that world of suck. And if you're an opposing team, like we all do, right, and we schedule win-loss on the schedule release, you see the Denver Broncos, are you going to really put a loss on that? No. You're definitely looking at that team as another rung in the ladder. And I think Naj has a awesome perspective of reality here.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have a pretty darn special defense to overcome mediocre or lesser quarterback play. And thanks, Naj, shout out to you. The 1999 Super is very helpful. But yeah, teams don't respect the Broncos, right? Like, there's a lot of teams like hoping that they were gonna not bring in a new quarterback, especially in the AFC West, because they don't respect Drew Lock. And I know that a lot of people in Broncos country are very high on him. That is not the general consensus from the league at large. He could prove them wrong, or he could prove them right. You know, we're fixing to find out. But Jay saying, I'm 90% sure the Broncos still got the draft pick from Tampa for Plummer. So I'll have to look that up after the show's over. I don't want to do that during the.
They got one over. They got one over on who would that have been? Would Chucky have been there still?
I have no idea.
Because I don't even remember Tampa Bay. I mean, they just went through the ring of fire there with coaches for a little while, and it was absolutely crazy. But speaking of crazy, a crazy huge supporter. Appreciate you so much, Dale Hendrick, a $3 super. Thank you for joining MHI. Your support means the world. We'll turn some heads this year without Rodgers. Dale bringing up the actual perspective of, look, the Broncos have to deal with what's in front of them right now. Players have talked about that ad nauseum because it's what they have to do, unless you're Kareem Jackson, talking to Deshaun Watson and trying to get him to come to Denver and all that craziness. But Nick, Dale's bringing up a really, really good point, something that we're dealing with and we're going to deal with here in training camp. The Denver Broncos, their quarterback battle, stellar defense, more depth. Sure, they've got a few positions of weaknesses, but the Broncos are going to be on the up and up, per our last podcast, where you've got one Daniel Jeremiah saying they're going to be on the up and up. Nick, do you subscribe to that theory as well?
Man, are the Broncos, they have to be, right? Like, this defense is going to be extremely talented this year. They have had really pretty good drafts the last few seasons. And for as critical as we are of the quarterback position, it would be hard to imagine them, the position being worse this year than last year. So you just would assume they'd bounce back. Also, injury bad luck last year, third year of this Vic Fangio defense. They've really put Fangio in a position to succeed as well, with how they've addressed the secondary, getting Von Miller back, another alpha pass rusher. So this team is on the rise. It's always, and it's almost frustrating to talk about it this way. It is frustrating to talk about it at this point. They'll go as far as the quarterback, right? That's going to be the capstone. At some point, your team, somebody's going to fall. You're going to have to, your depth is going to be stretched, and the game is going to be on the quarterback. The ball is going to be in their hands. And is that quarterback good enough to drag that team over the hurdle that they have to get to? And that's football right now, right? That's just how the game has evolved. Unless you have an all-time defense, which emphasis on the word all time, right? It's easier to find a Hall of Fame quarterback than it is to field an all-time defense. So that's just where football is.
Man, I want both. Man. I'd be happy with competent either. But it's going to be tough. Absolutely tough to figure it out. Nick, here's a little bit more a question, a bizarre question I want to ask you, and I want to ask Broncos country. Have you ever heard the term canary in the coal mine?
I have. I do not know what it means.
Okay. So one of my guys, right, Cecil Lammy, and was talking on the air, and I had never heard that term. And he was talking about the canary in the coal mine in reference to one Davante Adams, wide receiver, good friend of Aaron Rodgers, his favorite, well, and only target, really, if we're being honest. I know, Lazar, Bob Tanyan, Bob, yeah. That's right. Not Robert, Bob. Me and Bob are tight. It's one of those things, man, where he was saying, could Davante Adams be the canary in the coal mine. And what that reference had meant was back in the day, coal miners would actually bring in canary birds. The canary birds would stay alive until the point that they reached carbon monoxide poisoning levels. At that point, that would be the sure sign, I suppose, for miners to get out and seek treatment or, seek clean air. And something I'd never heard of, right? The canary in the coal mine, kind of a bizarre thing. But Nick, I digress. Davante Adams. How does Davante Adams react? There's rumors out there that the Packers want to get a new deal done, as he will be a free agent after this season. Do you think a Davante Adams not signing a contract or signing his contract could indicate a move from Aaron Rodgers?
If he signs a contract, it really depends like how much he gets paid to. Right? Like if he gets a massive deal, then Aaron Rodgers or not, I'm taking that money. Right? Like we saw it with Demaryius Thomas, where he just had an injury and he's out of the league now. Right? Like I don't think he's on a team, so I wouldn't have any issue with him taking that money. But I do think that it is somewhat of a canary in the coal mine, and it's safe if the canary is still alive. Right? Yeah, that's a good call, KB82. And once you said it, that like in the old.
Isn't that weird? Who brings a bird? And even my wife, right? My wife just grew up here in the middle of Denver, and that's right. I'm calling you out right now, honey. She's like, yeah, I've heard of that. Canary in the coal mine. It's a warning sign. I'm like, how do you know that? None of her family members are miners. There's no history or anything like that. Red. But yeah, I guess, man. She's just keeping me on my toes, man. That's what she does. But the canary in the coal mine, Davante Adams, it could be weird. And we're trying to read whatever tea leaves are there with Aaron Rodgers, right? Yeah. We're reading into the Nick, oh my God, he's re-signed his country club renewal. He's coming back to Green Bay. No, I think, when you're Aaron Rodgers, pennies on the dollar, folks. Pennies on the dollar. And Tad Benson in the house. Luke, I got my eye on Tad. You. You gotta, yep. Millennials. I hear you, man. Millennials. We're tough. We're absolutely tough. And you know what? On MHI, though, we're the best. Roughing the passer in the house. Robert Caslow. Good to see you, man. What's up, Bronco Maniacs? How you doing, Robert? Hope you're having a great start to your summer. Slide and glide bros with a $5 super. Nick saying, what's up, guys? I really believe that Drew Lock can easily be the guy. Hashtag let them hate. Hashtag go Drew Lock. Slide and glide bros. I am sure you are a good fan of our friends Chad Jensen and Zach Kelberman at Huddle Up Pod. One of our good pods. Nick is also part of Building the Broncos. We also have the Dove Valley Deep Divers as more content continues to flow at milehighhuddle.com. But I like it, Slide and Glide, because that's best case for the Denver Broncos. Nick, what say you? Drew Lock, can he easily be the guy? I know I like Teddy. We've talked about Teddy's ceiling. We've talked about, ceilings, floors, and everything in between. But can he easily be the guy? If that was the case, I don't think Teddy would be here. What say you?
I mean, I don't think it's easy for anybody to be the guy, right? Like I wouldn't put that. It's not easy for Trevor Lawrence to be the guy. And he's the first overall pick and one of the best draft picks ever. So yeah, sorry, Kenneth. Sorry to let you down, bud. But I think that is, I would not say easily. Could he be the guy? Yes. But I'm also not here to telling you things are not going to happen. Also, I don't speak in absolutes because
you're not a Sith Lord.
They say that it's not going to be 100 degrees in Seattle, right? It's only been three days of recorded 100 degrees in Seattle in its recorded history, and we're about to have 3 days back to back to back. And so, don't speak in absolutes because they'll make you look like a fool. Anything can happen, and that's what makes football great too, right? We got to see how it's going to play out. Things can be improbable. Things can be unlikely, but easily going to happen. I mean, I wouldn't do that. That's it. That's just the scientist in me too. Like somebody saying oh, is gravity prove gravity? Well, it's a theory. What does that even mean? It's well, it's still a theory. We don't know everything. We have a pretty good idea, but prove it. That's not how it works.
Take your favorite thing ever that's made of glass or ceramics and just drop it. And there's the proof of gravity. Yeah, no, I absolutely agree, man. There's the scientist in me, former bio major. Hey, give me my credit. But here's the thing, man. John Clayton is also pointing out, with next Friday being the deadline for that opt-out, what would the Green Bay Packers be looking like without him? Obviously, they would not be going to the playoffs. He suggests that they could be a 6 or 7 win team at best. And it could also cost the Packers wide receiver Davante Adams, who will be that free agent, as you mentioned, next year. Davante Adams is a huge loyalist to Rodgers, so he would probably prefer to leave and not stay in Green Bay. Plus, without Rodgers, the Packers would have to go into a rebuilding mode. A couple weeks ago, it was in fact Peter King who had suggested that the Packers could promise they would trade Aaron at the end of the season. Another theory, man. There's so many theories as to, and options really, for how this can go. Time will tell. Nick, we said as soon as June hit, that's when he would be here. First, he was going to get drafted during the draft, right? That night, we all said, "Oh, it's going to happen." My boy Stink saying it's going to happen. Everything else in between, and here we are. We're still wondering if it's going to happen. John Clayton saying, obviously, the opt-out's going to come and go next week, but the possibilities to get Aaron Rodgers, they seem endless. Nick, they really do. There's a new something coming out of air every day.
Yeah, no, we'll see what happens. We got Dan coming in here. Can a player still be traded the same season he opts out? I do not believe so, but if he were, so everybody's saying no. Okay, I was going to say if he were, that means that his rights were traded and he probably couldn't play until 2022 then, because he still opted out for that season. I don't know if it's like when a player gets injured, I don't think they can be traded. So I think it's kind of like that where they're on an injured reserve list.
Well, and I even asked John Bawana before we started this. I was like, okay, let's say Aaron opts out or whoever, Deshaun opts out, all BS aside, can you trade for him? Is there any way to shake out of that opt-out? And he's like, no, absolutely not. That was the designation. You got to ride it out. So good questions coming in. And of course, John on the ones and twos, he's all over it. Someone else who's all over it, Dale Hendricks, appreciate your support. Your $3 super chat means the world to us. Thank you, sir. Being the underdog has its advantages, and I like it because, Nick, when the Denver Broncos were an underdog in almost I don't know how many games, so many of their games, because the offense was awful in 2015, that Super Bowl run. The defense really used that bulletin board material mentality where they would take what journalists and analysts and reporters were saying about them, throw it on the good old board in the locker room, and they really bought into that as a defense. I think that's what Dale's pointing out here, that underdog mentality. When you hear Denver Broncos and underdog, do you think that that term is something they deserve, or do you think it's something they can rise above, or both?
They've earned it so far. I mean, 5 years of not making the playoffs, the worst drought ever for a team coming off a Super Bowl victory, the second longest drought in the AFC right now. They've earned being an underdog. It sucks, but that's it. And especially when you are in a division with 3 top 10, 12 quarterbacks, also, you got a tough field to till there. So they've earned it. Is that a good thing? Sometimes it is. It means your expectations are high, and that way, if you get like a win, like for my Iowa Hawkeyes, right? Like they in 2017, they beat the absolute brakes off of Ohio State. Nobody saw that coming. I think it was like 55-24. Underdog, man, that I'll never forget that game. I'll still be riding high. Ohio State, look all this hardware we got. Doesn't matter. 55-24, we beat your butt. So I'll ride that high as the underdog there. But for the NFL, especially where it's supposedly more of an even playing field, I'm getting tired of it a little bit. You know, it was fun being the head dog for a while, and then okay, people are sleeping on us again, blah blah blah. But I'm tired of them being right. And I like to be the big dog again. I'd like to be the feared one. And it's really annoying now that the face of the NFL is in the division as well with the Kansas City Chiefs. We've almost had a roll flop of the Kansas City Chiefs and the Denver Broncos, where like Kansas City for years, bringing in quarterbacks left and right. They couldn't draft one, had some good years, made the playoffs, not really, and just kind of, good fans, loyal franchise, blah, 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 good city. But, John Elway's in that other division. They're an afterthought. We've kind of, unfortunately, had a flip.
It's been tough, and it's disgusting because Chiefs Kingdom, y'all gross me out. Mike S., I see you. I love the show. I love the Alabama Crimson Tide picture you got there, and obviously the Broncos collecting Alabama Crimson Tide players. Absolutely love it. Higher learnings in the house. Nick, I wonder, if George Kittle was getting annoyed with Travis Kelce yelling when he was trying to give his speech at tight end. I did not see this. John is laughing in the background, it looks like. Did you get a chance of watching tight end? You thus far is that Tim Tebow was not invited.
I don't know if it annoyed him. I mean, George Kittle's a big wrestling guy. He was okay with the hyping up. I don't think it bothered him one bit, especially because him and Kelsey kind of worked together to get this going. So, Maybe if it was like incessant for like multiple days where he was like talking over you, that would get to you. But I don't think it bothered him that much. We got Jewel the Fool coming here over on YouTube. Saying, how much does the Rodgers talk? Yeah, it's a fun name, fun picture there too. How much does the Rodgers talk affect our offensive players who aren't the quarterback? Can we really go anywhere with Lock or Teddy after many of our players expected an upgrade? I would hope the players are in the same situation that we are. Obviously, we're talking a lot about it today because we're in between OTAs and training camp and like preseason. So like we're going to take every bite we can. We're starving fish right now. We'll hook, line, and sinker. But for the players themselves, I hope they have the same mentality that I have, where it's like, if it happens, that's great, but we need to prepare like he's not here because he's not here right now. So we're going to have to make do with what we have. And if it changes, we'll adjust at that point.
Players are good. They're on vacation. Bawana's reminding us. Nick, hopefully. Thank you. I was just going to say, dude, don't make me start checking the stations and everything like the journalists do in this town. No, I'm not a journalist. I don't want to do that. But gosh dang it, Nick, it's been a bad record for the Broncos. So something we got to watch out for. And EJ in the house. I like this one. I'm going to pull this out right here. Imagine if Elway drafted Kittle instead of Butt. Now, hey, did Jake Butt go to the Chicago Bears? Is that what I saw?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, EJ, you're killing us. How dare you? How dare you bring John into this? John is on a boat chilling somewhere. We do not need to talk about John this way, but I absolutely love it, EJ. You're right, man. You're right. Those draft misses, they hurt. And like Nick is suggesting too, if you're going to give up some of those first round draft picks, some of that draft capital, that's going to hurt too, because that's worse than a miss. You didn't even get an opportunity. So something that the Broncos are aware of, and something that I don't know, if you're in Broncos country, you're obviously monitoring it. And Bob Skinner, how are you, man? It's good to see you in the house. I want to pull his comment as well. Suckers, Charlie Beagle. Absolutely love it. We can't be suckers anymore, man. Can't be suckers anymore. We got to figure it out here in Broncos country. Bob Skinner, it hasn't been just one player. The whole team has sucked. Yeah, it's been tough, man. That world of suck applies to a lot. And when we start talking about change of culture, that's what George Payton was ultimately brought here to do.
Yeah. No, I mean, John Elway laid a good foundation for him. Obviously, his legacy will be those Super Bowls that the Broncos went to and winning a Super Bowl with Peyton, getting Peyton in here. But also, unfortunately, not finding that quarterback. And it just goes to show how valuable it is. We don't want to harp on it. It's beating a dead horse literally at this point. But we have Mac85 City coming in with a $5 super over on YouTube. We thank you so much, Mac. He says, at dinner with the family, but I will watch later. I'm going to hold you to that, Mac. I'm going to send you a study guide. I'm going to give you a quiz. I'm going to ask you about the canary in the coal mine. What does it mean?
I love it. We should, like, I know it wasn't our conversation. I'm kind of piggybacking off of another show, but like, never heard of the canary in the coal mine. I know Chad likes making shirts. Maybe we need a canary somewhere on this MHI shirt. I don't know. Canary in the coal mine. We need to read those tea leaves. But Nick, I wanted to ask you this, man. Right now, with the Broncos looking at training camp, with the quarterbacks, with what we've got, not going to hold you to it. Where do you predict the Broncos in terms of a overall record for the 2021 season right now?
500. So I know it's a 17-game schedule, but I have them at 8-9, 9-8.
Me too. 8-9. I don't. Yeah, maybe 9-8. I'm 8-9 too. So hold us to that, Broncos country. Like, because now if we're Coast and Patico on that, man, I feel like maybe we could support each other in that foxhole. And if we're wrong, then we go down together.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I like to kind of grade that out differently, as do you. I know that through working with you. Kind of give that grade of where you think they're going to fall pre-training camp, post-training camp, injuries aside, preseason, regular season. That really at the regular season, that first week is where we like to try to give our final predictions on milehighhuddle.com.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, again, a lot of it, this is a good roster, but both quarterbacks the past few years have been somewhat underwhelming. So that means that you're going to be limited. And that probably means that if they get to 500, that's honestly a testament to the rest of the team. KB82 coming in here saying, who gets a bigger contract, Adams or Sutton? This depends on what happens going forward. Right now, it has to be Devonta Adams, given his play, and also Sutton coming off an injury. But like, let's say Aaron Rodgers comes in here and Sutton kills it. Cha-ching, right? Like, and it's also the thing where players, it's not always the best guy who gets paid. It's who's next, right? It's every single time. It's a one up. So let's say Adams gets paid this offseason, and then Rodgers comes to Denver, and Sutton kills it next year. Even though Adams has a better track record, maybe the better wide receiver, maybe Sutton probably gets paid bigger. That's just kind of how the ball rolls. Like Kirk Cousins wasn't the best quarterback in the NFL, but he got paid the most because it was his time to get paid. And somebody's going to pay you if you play one of those prime positions.
KB, great question. Who gets a bigger contract? And then I like to sometimes do the worst thing ever and answer a question with a question, Nick. So it'll be like I'm also thinking, who gets the contract first? Now, initially, you want to say Davante Adams. Could the Packers franchise tag Davante Adams? Yes. So that's a potential option there. Cortland Sutton, are the Broncos going to commit to him? They've got other players coming up, with Dalton Reisner, Noah Fant. You've got a lot of guys, Bradley Chubb, he's at the very top of the list. You've got a lot of guys playing on these rookie contracts, and it's time to come down to some really difficult decisions for George Paton, and we will have to see how it goes. And here comes US Dave, or Us Dave, in the house. Dang it. Uh-oh. Hang on real quick. It just went down. Could you pull Us Dave?
No, we got to get to Pobby here real quick with a $50.
All right, Us Dave. We'll be right back, buddy. Sit tight.
Pobby's here. Pobby stopped by to say hello. Pobby with the $49.99 super flashing purple here over on YouTube saying, hi, you guys are rock stars. See you all later. Well, Pobby, thank you so much for coming in and really helping the show here. That's, man, what a heck of a help. You're awesome.
Pobby. Gosh. Yeah, Bobby's actually going on vacation soon. I was rapping with her the other day. Yeah, I told her, you work so hard. Make sure you enjoy yourself. Work hard, play hard. Bobby's always working. We appreciate all your support. Thank you so much, buddy, and hope you're doing well. Hope the family's doing well. Many thoughts and prayers to your mom as well. Us, Dave, can you pull that for me real quick before we get US Dave? He says, US Dave, I see you. Get me your take, US Dave, because I saw that, I lost it, and away we roll. Bawana Beast always saying it's great to see pictures of our fan base, and I absolutely agree with us, guys. Get at Mile High Huddle. Tweet us a picture of yourself in some Broncos gear from the huddleuppodstore.com. Higher Learnings in the house too as well, saying if Bradley Chubb plays average this year, I'd much rather keep Sutton than Chubb. Completely agree with that. And Bawana, thank you so much for rolling back that chat. He found it from US Dave. Us Dave, if we had drafted Brady, we would probably be cheaters. And something I had to throw down there, because anytime we can throw a little shade at the Patriots, that's worth searching for, Nick. It's worth it, because Brady's a beast down there in Tampa Bay, man. Absolute beast. You can't bet against the guy. You really can't.
Yeah, unless it comes to some of his science takes, then I'm betting against him every time.
I haven't heard him. Haven't heard him, but against the avocado ice cream, I'm not eating that either. So there you go.
I'd eat avocado ice cream. You're not a true millennial. Doc, you coming in here. At what point does Denver start losing out on resigning players because we can't get our quarterback situation settled? Odds on Sutton just saying peace next year. I mean, it's more so like if the Broncos offer him a good contract, he'll probably be retained. Even he wouldn't say just peace. But the quarterback situations means that you're not getting any sort of discount. You're paying sticker price. Like, it's premium dollar. You're not going to, I'll shave, 5% off my deal because I want to stay here. This is a good situation. I got a good quarterback throwing me the ball. Good things are happening in Denver. You're not getting that. And that's when good teams can really get the ball going, right? You're getting guys under value, retaining them. And then you can bring in like a small move. It's kind of like when the Broncos signing Demaryius Thomas, all these guys, and they have a little bit of cash to spare, bringing in Evan Mathis, and that might have made all the difference for that Super Bowl run. So I don't know if you would just say peace, but you're definitely not going to get a bargain.
Great question. Could you imagine Cortland Sutton going to another team? I mean, that makes me sick thinking about that. It really does. Not to say that I love Cortland, but I see what Cortland can bring to the game. I see what he brings to this team. And God forbid he go to, Seattle. I know they have money problems and stuff, but Russ Wilson needs help. San Francisco, that would be nauseating, right? In that Shanahan offense. Yeah. I would just hate to see him go, but they're going to have to make a decision, man. Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton. That line is definitely there. We know who the tight end is. It's Noah Fant. No question about it. You know who most of your offensive line are. You don't know who your quarterback is. You know who your defense is. You've got a host of receivers. It's absolutely crazy. And speaking of crazy, TD Randall in the house. Hey, man, good to see you. Appreciate you so much joining MHI. Just showing some love, guys. Keep up the great work, fellas. # Mile High 5. Appreciate you, Mr. Randall, so much. It's great to see you. I hope you're having a great summer, and thank you for joining us, and thank you so much for your support, man. It means the world to Nick and I.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you so much, TD Randall. We appreciate you. Guys, I think that's probably going to have to do it for us today. We're cutting a little bit short, but I am melting. We just hit 100 degrees here in Seattle, and I'm in a room with no AC, and I'm starting to sink in my chair. So, man,
he smells like a billy goat, folks. He's a big dumb animal, isn't he, folks? I just watched Tommy Boy, dude. I love that movie. So anytime I can quote it, even if it doesn't apply, I have to apply it. So yeah, Nick's getting all grouchy, sitting here all grouchy. So we're gonna let him get out. So folks, not only was he running late last week, but here we go. He's trying to leave the show early this week. But no, we digress, man. It's tough, right? It's tough when you're dealing with the elements. It's tough when you're dealing with this crazy life in 2021, but it's not tough dealing with y'all in Broncos country. It's a blessing. You guys have blessed us so much to allow us to do what we want to do, and that's cover the Denver Broncos. We write articles. We have our analytics. We go over film. We scout. We cover the NFL draft. 365 coverage, Nick. It's nonstop at milehighhuddle.com, and Higher Learning's coming in saying, thanks, Luke, Nick, John, and Dylan. Have a great weekend, Broncos country. Absolutely. Hope all you dads had a great Father's Day last weekend as well. Dylan Von Arks, man, he's one of our biggest supporters and friends. Great conversation as always, guys. Make sure y'all hit that little like button on the way out, because you know what? A little bit goes a long way. And that's so true, man. Just like Bob Marley used to say, man, we got to love each other, embrace each other. And that's what we do here in Broncos country. We hate the Raiders, we hate the Chiefs, and we hate the Chargers, but we love each other, Nick, in Broncos country. And I absolutely love rocking with you guys on MHI on Saturday nights.
Yeah, guys, make sure you follow us on Twitter. Please. Let me take the last comment real quick.
Charlie Beagle real quick too, because I was wondering the same thing. So I gotta interrupt you and keep you sweating here for another minute. Why can't you just turn on the AC?
They don't exist in Seattle. Typically the weather is the high this time of year average is 77. So I would say 80% of houses in Seattle do not have air conditioning because it doesn't get that hot. There's like 1 day a year, 2 days a year where you'd need it historically.
Crazy. Just the different. They're like people are like, what's an AC? They're in Seattle. It's absolutely crazy. Kind of like here in June where I look like an idiot wearing my hoodie in the Mile High City because of that weather. But no, you're absolutely right, man. Find Nick at Nick Kendell, MHH, guys. He is so busy working hard covering the Broncos country. Be sure to give him a DM, tweet him, and he will get at you. I'm at Luke Patterson LP. Bawana Beast, you know him, you love him. Be sure to get at him at Mile High Huddle. MileHighHuddle.com is where you can find our written content, our videos. We've always got something brewing over there. You got the Huddle Up podcast, boys, coming at you tomorrow. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share, and be sure to listen, download, and subscribe anywhere you get your podcast to the Mile High Insiders, the Dove Valley Deep Divers, Building the Broncos, and we got the air horn. And let's Dehan with a $5 starting Nick's AC fund. I absolutely love it.
My God,
Nick, I tell you what, man, we gotta set a benchmark, dude. I want you to go out, find the AC that you want, and we got to get you that AC because, dude, there ain't no way you should not be comfortable in your own house. I love it so much. Guys, we will be back next Saturday, I believe, at 6 p.m. Let him sweat, says Charlie Beagle. No, we're going to roll out of here. Y'all have been so busy. We want to make sure you guys are spending time with your family, your friends. And as always, be good, Broncos country. Go Broncos.
Go Broncos.